Pro-cannibalism as a metaphor for love in open source with Kat Cosgrove. Hey everybody, how's it going? Yay!
Yay!
Hey Kat, how are you today?
Fine and dandy. How are you?
Fine and dandy? You're in Vegas. You're a liar.
I am full of shit. I'm utterly full of shit. I am, in fact, in Vegas. I'm calling from Black Hat. This is a welcome break from Black Hat, and it is getting me out of the booth crawl. So,
I am... Oh, is the booth crawl today?
Yeah, it's right now.
Oh, perfect timing for you to escape all of that nonsense. Well done. Cool. So let's see, how did this happen? You were on Blue Sky, and Damien was cyber stalking you, as we do. And you said, hey, I want to go start talking and doing things and having fun. And we completely self-interestedly slid into your DMs and said, hey, how you doing? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more, say no more.
As one does.
As one does. And you came up with this amazing title for this talk, and I was like, I am intrigued. As a fan of Dr. Hannibal Lecter, I was like, are we bringing fava beans and Chianti to this? Let's do it.
Well,
oh, look at you, you saucy minx.
It's Malbec, but close enough.
Close enough. Whatever. Damien, do you have any beans?
I do not. I mean, I've got coffee beans. So that's about it. Yeah. I don't even know what a fava bean is.
I think it's a big fat butter bean, but I'm not entirely sure. Is it?
I think so. It's like a big flat bean. Yeah.
Okay.
So. Not really selling it, actually. It's not sounding more appealing to me.
It goes with liver, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for representation today, we have Scotland by way of Vegas, we have Boston by way of Mobile, Alabama, and we have Texas. So we have covered the gamut. We are in all the time zones tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. We haven't been on the show in a whole minute, Chris. It's been interesting. So for those of you all that are watching or listening or whatever,
I wonder what happened to Chris.
Yeah. So we actually kind of had a slowdown on signups, which, as you can see, has kind of put some holes in our calendar. So first and foremost, everyone is welcome to speak. If you have something fun and interesting that is not marketing to talk about, go to vBrownBag.com and sign up, please. And secondly, Chris had his knee replaced. He's actively working on being the human ship of Theseus. So,
how many parts can we replace before Chris doesn't self-identify anymore?
I don't know.
I'm an orange. Kat, what about you? Are you other than Black Hat? What other plans do you have?
I am all over the place right now. I have Open Source Summit Europe coming up next, which is in Amsterdam. Then DevOps Days Denver. Then Kubernetes Community Days UK, which is going to be in Edinburgh. Then Kubernetes Community Days Porto. I have to fly straight from there to KubeCon Atlanta, which I'm very excited about because I lived in Atlanta for several years. So I'm really excited to show people around, and I'm from Memphis, so I'm from not like super far from Atlanta. Then from there, DevOps Days Wollongong, which is about 90 minutes from Sydney. So I've never been to Australia before. I'm very excited for that one. And then I think that is my last conference of the year. That's like the last week of November. And I currently have nothing for December, thank God. So
no reinvent for you.
Blessedly no. Absolutely not.
No, she's a real developer. Why would she go there?
Shots fired, Damien. Wow.
I actually edited myself in real time.
That was impressive. No, I just hate Las Vegas.
There she goes.
Yeah, I really don't like it here. And I'm so sorry if anybody here lives in Vegas. It's not personal. It's that I grew up in a swamp and I struggle with low humidity. Pretty extremely. The humidity today, it's 108 degrees and the humidity is like 4%. And my comfort zone is like 80 to 90 Fahrenheit and like 80% humidity. Like that's what I want. I want to be.
Have a humidifier in your room?
Pardon?
Do you have a humidifier in your hotel room?
No. And I called, the first thing I did when I checked into the hotel was call down and ask for a humidifier because they always have them, right? This one does not. So don't stay at the Vidara if you want a humidifier.
Wow.
I have a wet towel hanging over the chair next to my bed. Like just trying to, I've had the shower.
Drape it over your face.
Yeah. And I'm just trying to stave off the inevitable waking up in the middle of the night with a nosebleed because the air is so goddamn dry. Like,
it is the worst when you get up at 6 because you have to be like at the booth at 8 and you just sit in the shower steaming, just trying to rehydrate the back of your head. Oh, it's brutal.
Absolutely brutal. But I'm not staying for DEF CON. I had the option to stay for DEF CON, but I just can't do it. Might stay an extra night to go see the Backstreet Boys at the Sphere.
Are they back?
They are, in fact, very back. Yeah.
Chris.
What? Shut up.
Everybody's gotta.
You gotta put like a whole $1 in the dad joke jar because that sucked.
That did suck.
Thank you.
Like, yeah, it was bad. You owe somebody money for that one.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. So you're at Minimus now? What is it? Do you talk about that? So you're a dev advocate at Minimus. So what are you doing there? What are they doing?
So I actually I'm the head of developer advocacy, and I love working at Minimus in developer advocacy because they explicitly don't want me giving product pitches, which I don't think is ever a developer advocate's job. But I can't tell you what we do. I just don't have I just don't have a spiel. So it's minimal container images, both minimal in size and minimal in CVEs. So most of our containers have no exploitable CVEs. The rest of them it's something like a 96% reduction in CVEs. And a lot of that is done by removing modules and applications that you don't actually need. So the containers are very, very small, and they have either no CVEs or very few CVEs. And the way it works is you just pull our images from our registry instead of whatever other public image you're using. So it's also very minimal impact to your developers to reduce CVEs. When a new CVE is found or publicly disclosed in an image that we are serving, we'll go take care of it. And the next time you pull it, it'll be taken care of for you. Supports air gapping. We've got FIPS containers, blah, 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 which is why we're at Black Hat, right? Like it's
Nice. Very cool.
I hadn't heard of y'all before. I will say though that when I just Googled Minimus, and I'm sure you've done this too, there's like a travel size, like toothpaste company that's at the top of the results. So
there is, and I've thought about buying some of their toothpaste and giving it out as booth swag.
Minimus at Minimus.
Yeah.
I mean,
totally.
Why not?
Yeah. We did give away a Mini Cooper at RSA, which I thought was funny.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
This is very cool. Y'all have a lot of images.
We do. And we're adding more every week. And if we've got something that like you want, but we don't have, ask for it. Give us 2 weeks and we'll have it for you. So, cause like we just came out of stealth a few months ago, like 90 days ago or so. So we're still, ramping up, but yeah, if there's something you want that we don't have, ask for it, we'll get it for you. And we're not like hiding any of our images or features or anything behind, like a secret curtain that requires you to talk to sales. You can just sign up and start pulling images.
So I know that this is not why you're here, but you've piqued my curiosity, and going off topic is something that we specialize in here at the vBrownBag.
It's kind of what we do.
How does Minimus make money? Like, where's the money there?
Oh, I mean, we're going to sell these to you. You don't get like unlimited bandwidth pulling these images forever and ever and ever. If you want to use these in a commercial environment, you got to give us money. And our sales guys, like, we do see it when you pull images. And sales will reach out to you if you let them.
Huh, interesting.
But, yeah, we charged an annual fee per image you use. I don't know how much that cost is because it's not my job.
Right. That's
right.
totally fair.
Yeah. But yeah. If you want to use these commercially, it costs you money. But we're also doing a shitload of work for you that would otherwise have to be done by your security team. And something like 80+% of CVEs don't actually ever get remediated. You just accept the risk of having that CVE and ignore it.
Which is bananas.
Yeah. So
yeah, my company sells a product that uses Kubernetes underneath. So like pulling a crap load of images when deploying it is just a thing that it does. Right. So it's very
I don't know what's in there.
Right. Cool. Well, thank you.
Nice. So one of the things that we talked about amongst cannibalism was also open source. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to throw this up on here because I think I'm going to have a ton of questions. Obviously, we've all spent a hot minute in open source, and we all have. Yep. And if you haven't spent any time in open source, you don't have any spicy opinions. And if you have spent a hot minute, then you have several spicy opinions. So I'm really excited to wade into this. What as you're giving this, do you want us to like organically ask questions from the audience, or do you want us to table them to the end?
Are they going to come in through in this comments box I can see over on the right?
Potentially, but you ignore that. That's literally the only thing that Damien and I do is sit here, look pretty, and answer questions.
Yeah, and we do one of them terribly.
Actually, both, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, if you see an opportunity to interrupt me to ask a question, by all means, go for it. I'm not like territorial about my talks in that way. So,
awesome.
Yeah, if it makes sense, go for it.
We like to ask. Some people are very militant about their time. They hit a stopwatch and they're like, today we shall talk about cannibalism as a metaphor for love. And then,
Yeah, and if you get them off the track, they're like thrown. They don't know how to get back on topic. And
I don't know why I switched into a Russian accent for that. That's super weird. Okay, never mind. There's disregard.
Yeah, no, go for it. Interrupt me as you please.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we kicking it off?
Yep, let's do it.
To the stage, Kat Cosgrove.
Let's talk about cannibalism. I know this seems like wildly out there, but you'll just bear with me. Okay, so for context on who I actually am in an open source context, I'm the Kubernetes release team subproject lead, which means that 3 times a year, ultimately, it's my problem to make sure that Kubernetes gets out the door safely. I am also a technical lead for SIG Docs, a big fan of horror and a weird nerd. And for proof of those last two, this is a picture of me at 19 years old working at Black Lodge Video in Memphis, Tennessee, where I was the resident horror movie expert, about to go win the Best of Memphis award. Like for context on like why that's necessary, Black Lodge had something like 40,000 titles in store, and it wasn't possible for anybody to like have a reasonable conversation with customers about what to rent on everything in the store. So people specialized, and I specialized in horror. So we're going to talk about cannibalism, and I promise it's a thing. It gets used as a metaphor for love all the time. It's been used as a metaphor for love for, I don't know, since we started telling stories, basically. And it's a literary device used to describe a kind of like extreme, all-consuming love to the point of destroying yourself and or the object of your affections. It's very gross, it's violent, and it's sad. But humans have generally found the idea of this like really romantic within the context of a story for a very long time, because it is an exaggeration of the way we actually behave. So in Nosferatu, which I am still obsessed with and was very obsessed with when I wrote this talk originally, Count Orlok loves Ellen so completely that he dies to have the opportunity to consume her. It's really easy to argue that a lot of vampire media is cannibalism as a metaphor for love, just like inherently. It certainly is between like Lestat and Louis in Interview with the Vampire, whichever version of it you're watching. The song Strangers off of Ethel Cain's Preacher's Daughter is a fictional story about a woman who wants so badly to be loved that she lets a man kill and eat her. And in Hannibal, Will and Dr. Lecter have an escalating relationship centered on Hannibal's crimes and Will's attempts to prove he's a cannibal. Nobody is going to convince me that those two are not like romantically entangled. Look at that screenshot. absolutely zero shot that is innocent. Like, come on.
I don't know.
You know?
Chris, didn't you and I share a touching moment while talking about the vBrownBag one time, just like this?
We
Just
have
like that?
we have several shots of us doing exactly that.
Oh yeah, like both of us
Okay.
like staring at each other's chins,
Lovingly?
just
soulfully just gripping the back of each. Yes,
entangled.
Okay.
Like
So
my
this is
hands
like
were in
a-
his hair, like we're talking about the vBrownBag.
I need
This
a
is
drink
totally
now.
normal and
Wow,
platonic.
this is spicy. Ooh.
No, I know, but that's what cannibalism is about. It's loving, even though it's gross. There's also this movie based on a book, Bones and All. This is a love story about two cannibals. It's really good. And these are just modern examples. You see this a lot in Greek mythology. You see it in Shakespeare. You see it in the Bible, which is, like not something people normally like to bring up as a work of fiction, but we can argue about that on social media. But yeah, like cannibalism it's a thing that gets used to express an exaggeration of the way humans actually behave, which is that sometimes when we love things, we treat them like shit, out of love. Our fascination with something as taboo as cannibalism within the safety of fantasy tells us something about how we interact with stuff we actually love. It works because it's so extreme. It doesn't matter whether it's another person or a TV show or an open source project. We can and do behave in ways that are entirely irrational and very destructive just because we love something, even if it is not good for that thing. This is fine behavior when it's art. It's fine when it's a fantasy. But in real life, that is still murder. And sometimes I know, it's still murder, right? And sometimes we see this kind of excessive passion in open source, and it hurts our projects. It's not good for us. So passion is really good when it manifests as something positive, but it very easily and commonly manifests in a way that's super destructive. Contributor burnout, maintainers fighting with each other, and users being mean to maintainers are all destructive actions that can permanently damage the health of a project. And none of us are immune to this. All of us have been guilty of some of this behavior at some point in the past. It's a matter of like recognizing when you're doing something because you're being overly emotional, you're being irrational. All of us have an obligation to work towards minimizing the frequency of these actions if we want our projects to survive. So let's look at some of these ways that being excessively passionate screws us and our projects over. We all know how destructive burnout is. There are about 1,000,001 talks and studies and blog articles on this topic, so I'm not gonna harp on it too much. But burnout happens when you spend so much of your time and energy working on something that it entirely consumes the rest of your life. It is miserable, and it starts to feel like even really simple tasks require a gargantuan amount of effort. Suddenly, you're spending more time working but achieving way less, and you're miserable both on the clock and off, because when you're off the clock, all you can do is think about this thing that you're obsessed with. Your passion for the project turns into a sense of obligation, and that obligation kind of turns into guilt, and the guilt eats away at you. I guess you could call this auto cannibalism. At this point, you're doing this to yourself, and a lot of the times. An important thing to remember with open source projects is you can leave, and sometimes
I did not realize that this was going to turn into a self-reflection / therapy session. I appreciate this.
Yeah, dude. Sometimes you gotta bully people into being nice to themselves. So
right?
you gotta prioritize yourself. Like your open source project needs you at your best, and sometimes that means being there less often. You got to just leave sometimes. You got to say no to stuff. You've got to set boundaries. You've got to fiercely defend your free time. This can also be like a structure of the project itself. For instance, in Kubernetes, SIG release, our charter specifies that we will always, always, always choose to delay a release before we will force the release team to work at night or on weekends. So we don't let the release team burn out, because we know that the release team is a burnout factory. So if it looks like we're going to burn out a team, we just delay the release and everybody else be damned. Like, the cloud providers will survive an extra week without a new version of Kubernetes, but we need a break. So also, you got to make sure that if you are in an at all leadershipy position, other contributors are looking at what you do. And that's more important the beefier your title is. So you got to act like it. I know we want to pretend that open source is like still the wild, wild west or whatever, but it's not. Other people are watching what you do. Your career and other people's careers oftentimes depend on open source. Mine sure as shit does. And burnout is contagious, especially amongst new contributors who don't have the confidence or the clout to say no themselves. So say no for them. Don't overwork yourself, and step in when you notice someone else being overworked. Like, use your own clout to defend other people whenever you can. So now I'm going to make everybody sad. Right? People are really messy, and really passionate. And sometimes that passion results in some pretty hot tempers. We can get territorial about a PR, or we can lash out when somebody doesn't like our idea. And we can't control how other people act, but we can control how we respond when tensions get a little too high. Jeremy Rickard, who's a SIG release lead and a member of the technical oversight committee for the CNCF, wrote a talk about this topic specifically. And I'm going to pull some of the data from that talk here. We found that the majority of current and potential contributors who witnessed infighting between maintainers reconsidered their contributions or left entirely. And that sucks. The results of the survey were actually significantly messier than we expected. So let's look at some data. So have you ever witnessed a conflict or adversarial behavior between maintainers of an open source project? This includes everything from full-fledged insults, personal insults, to rude behavior on GitHub, Slack, or mailing lists. Overwhelmingly, yes, 86%. The 13.8% that said no, I wonder if they don't actually just like spend that much time in open source projects, because I don't get how you could spend much time in a sufficiently large one without seeing an argument. I don't really go a week without seeing somebody be shitty on GitHub, personally. But that's the Kubernetes project. So yeah. We asked some follow-up questions like, how did you feel witnessing that conflict? And these don't really feel good to read. It changed my perception of someone I considered a peer and a respectable colleague. It was deeply frustrating to watch the damage occur and not be able to do anything to help or prevent it. Embarrassed and confused, like, this one feels the worst, I think. Usually just disappointed, but I'm privileged to usually not be directly impacted. I regularly worry about more directly impacted folks' well-beings and careers. Increasingly commonly, I feel for somebody's physical safety. I'm sad when I see events lead to somebody disappearing from an open source community and tech completely because they felt that that was their best option.
There are things in life that are, for me, like, full stop. It's time to start punching people in the face.
Yeah.
Open source software is not on that list. So
no, it's not. It's not. But some people like make it their entire identity, and they have so much of their like their personal self-worth wrapped up in open source that when somebody insults their thing, they get violent about it.
Yeah.
And it's wild. Did it impact whether or not you contributed to that project or area of the project? Again, overwhelmingly yes. 25% no. We got some text responses for these two. I don't wish to be involved in projects where the maintainers are obviously capricious, which is an excellent word choice, by the way.
It is, yeah.
It's a banger. Engaging in harassment of women and minorities, yeah. I don't want to be part of a community that tolerates this sort of behavior, even in an area I don't work. There's a negative impact on my mental health. I was committed to getting the project out of the hole they dug itself into. I've done that one myself, where like I had a shitty time on a team or in a project, and I just stayed because I felt like I had an obligation to fix it. In retrospect, you don't have an obligation to fix it. Just leave, just dip. It's like that share zone image. Like if it sucks, hit the bricks. You can just you can just get out of here, you know?
I love those memes. They're like overly aggressive, but also helpful.
Yeah, like it's true. We all need to hear that sometimes. If it sucks, hit the bricks. Has conflict between maintainers of a project you already participate in ever led you to question your continued involvement in a project?
Oof.
Again, yes. So like what this boils down to is that fights between maintainers have a very real and very measurable impact on the health and sustainability of an open source project. It is not just a flash in the pan of bad vibes that kind of like goes away. This shit sticks around. It permanently alienates users, contributors, maintainers, and we just innocent bystanders who are watching it on like, I don't know, the comments on the Orange site or Reddit or whatever. So let's take a look at some comments that started fights significant enough for people to find it memorable. Most of this turned into, yeah.
How many of them involve Linus?
You know what? No, we got so many responses because the survey asked for like specific examples of like beef that occurred in public. And it was actually super difficult for us to pare it down.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Because it was like we got feedback about like dozens of projects, and it was super hard to pick like beef that was concise enough to put in this talk. But like all of it was memorable. Most of it was stuff that I remember like reading articles about. So, and some of it was like ongoing at the time. But like, yeah, it's
wow.
I think Linus has gotten better though, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. Oh, significantly better. Like since 2010, I want to say. When he like backed away and stepped down and I don't know, started meditating. Who knows?
Yeah, good. Because when
you get older too, it just takes more effort to put holes in walls than it did when you were 19.
Oh yeah,
right. Yeah, I can see him punching holes in walls. He seems like he would have been the type when he was young. Yeah. All right.
You realize you're doing something
messy drama.
Yes, do it.
I love other people's messy drama. So. This was on a review for Kubeflow. In what universe was this PR ready to merge? Please do not merge significant changes without actually reviewing the content. There are multiple glaring issues with this PR, ranging from dead links to a near complete lack of information for the user. Put yourself in the shoes of someone trying to install Kubeflow pipelines. Would this page be helpful in its current state? Oh my God. The follow-up to that was the approver removing himself. Like,
peace.
So, deuces. Like, I would leave too if somebody talked to me like that. So, what happened here is a contributor opened a PR to update the instructions for installing Kubeflow pipeline. It was approved by a Kubeflow approver. If you are like at all involved in open source, then you may know that getting trusted people in place like approvers takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. You don't just apply to be approver. You work in the project for a while, gain trust, and then get the role. So they're in generally short supply. An approver leaving is a problem. A maintainer responded with an aggressive and extremely demanding review that included a not so thinly veiled insult, and the approver immediately rage quit. He opened an issue to revoke his own permissions. The review
I actually really love that part. That's just so like
that's
just
king
opening
shit,
an issue like
yeah, like deuces, bro. Like,
and now it's your problem. There you go. There's an issue.
This is an example of if it sucks, hit the bricks. You know, like if things are bad in your project, you can and should leave to protect your own peace. Fuck the project, okay? Like you don't need the project to live; it needs you to live, right? Leave.
And that's the part that kind of like drives me insane. It's like these people are doing this for free out of the goodness of their own hearts. It's like you're talking to somebody like you're paying them. Well, first off, you should never talk to somebody like that, period. If you're a shit boss, then you could talk to somebody like that if you're paying them. You're not even that. It's like, what are you even thinking?
I genuinely don't know. That is somebody who's like too passionate, and they're letting it force them to treat another co-maintainer like shit. Other people saw it, and it pushed people away from Kubeflow. Because why would you
totally.
want to work in an environment like that? Why would you want to work with a maintainer who treats other maintainers like that? I sure as shit don't. You know? We see this a lot in Node.js. One of the comments for Node.js was literally see any PR in Node.js node that has more than 100 comments that discusses ESM or core pack.
Wow.
This did turn out to be true. I went and browsed, and it was super hard to pick one. There were quite a lot, and it was anything like around 100 comments. It didn't even have to get to 100, but all of them were like really, really messy, shitty fighting over whether or not and how to implement some feature. I'm like in my speaker notes here, I have links to like all of the issues that are mentioned here. And there are 5 linked in here for Node.js because we just like couldn't pick one. So the meanest comment we found in this one was, I'm sorry if my contributions are a bother to you, but maybe a more effective way to move the focus would be to enforce the 2021 TSC decision and let folks who want to work on this problem make some progress. It seems there's a lack of trust towards the core pack team and the package maintenance team to build consensus, which is quite bothering to see, TBH. Yeah, this person's feelings are very hurt, and it's sort of valid because this is like 70 comments of people bickering rather than enforcing a pre-existing decision and letting people do some open source. It's just a whole bunch of fighting. On the other side, forgive me for the strong position here. By not deciding and by arguing with each other, we're definitely showing our worst side. Because at this point, this had been picked up by the media, and there was like news articles running about it on like the Register and whatnot. I think that people from the outside perceive that we're unable to make decisions, and thus our function as technical guidance is totally impaired. In other words, we're here to coordinate and to decide. If we don't do that, what are we here for? Great point. Right. The press getting involved and catching your open source projects infighting like pissed off siblings is really embarrassing. Since this PR is getting a lot of traction on social media, YouTube videos, and blog posts, I'm locking this PR for collaborators only to prevent this place from becoming an off-topic nightmare. We hear you, the community, and we're already aware of your dissatisfaction with this change and how it may be perceived. There's a discussion in the package maintenance working group to come up with a plan that could work for everything. Like, it shouldn't get to this point. It shouldn't get to the point where like your open source project is so dysfunctional that the press is talking about it and you have to lock discussions to keep people from coming in to tell you to stop being idiots. That's embarrassing.
Because nobody has ever looked at one of these and gone, you know what? I feel like I need to voice my opinion here.
Yeah. Like, dude, calm down, you know? Like, and again, Node.js is pretty bad for this. So if you are like me and you like other people's drama that like can't get on you, definitely go check out the Node.js node repo and take a peek at anything discussing ESM or core pack with around 100 comments, and you're get some popcorn. It's fun.
As allergic to as I am to drama in my own life, I love watching other people's drama.
Yeah. Oh God, me too. Absolutely love it. So the last one is this little bit from Otel. I was on vacation when you took it upon yourself to fork this to make irrelevant changes.
Wow.
Oh my God. You approved the exact same code you later blocked. I took that to mean that the comments you made were not required to be addressed, and they did not appear to me to be relevant or useful in light of the in-flight refactoring PR you have open. In the future, if you expect that comments will lead to changes, perhaps don't also indicate your approval. So now, like, if you just on the surface, this looks like valid criticism delivered in a way that's too bitchy. Which is like, that's a totally fair way to look at it, until you like dig around and see that like this guy is not only being too bitchy, he's also wrong, which is really fun to watch. Like if you're going to be bitchy, you need to be sure that you are also right, I think. Oh, yeah. And this guy is bitchy and also at least partially wrong. And this spiraled also into a fight. And these are all like, relatively large open source projects. So when these kind of fights happen, there's a lot of public eye on it pretty quickly. The Rust Foundation drama is an example of this. Every time there's drama with Rust, the language, everybody knows about it because it's pretty large. And so you have to be aware before you say something bitchy on GitHub that there are going to be potentially quite a lot of eyes on that. All it takes is one person recording a YouTube video or one person posting it on Hacker News or one sufficiently nosy, chronically online person with a blonde mullet and a significant number of social media followers to find out about it and post about it online because she thinks it's funny. So,
yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I got nothing. No.
I got nothing. So, watch it. So, oh my God, you need a code of conduct. I cannot believe this still has to be said. But here's why this still has to be said. I was talking on another podcast with a maintainer of a programming language that you have almost certainly used in the past, but do not use now. A web development programming language that you almost certainly do not use now. They don't have a code of conduct, and they think that they don't need one. And this turned into a fight because he thought that they didn't need one, and the Council of Elders or whatever for this language also agreed that they didn't need one. They found it excessively restrictive. If you find a code of conduct excessively restrictive for your open source project has a serious problem with factors and bad behavior. Because normal, well-behaved people do not find codes of conduct to be restrictive. So please have one so that your maintainers don't kill each other. And when they start chewing on each other, you have recourse to stop them from chewing on each other. So what makes a strong code of conduct? You need to explicitly define both expected good behavior and punishable bad behavior. You cannot just say, be nice to each other. It does not work. You've got to define the scope of your code of conduct. Like, where does this apply? Does it only apply in project spaces, like on Slack or whatever? Or does it also apply on social media when you're talking to or about other maintainers or the project? Does it apply at events, or do you have a separate code of conduct for events? That kind of stuff. You have to provide instructions for reporting a violation via a private channel, such as email. And that needs to be like to a committee, not an individual. It can't be Kat at language.com for your code of conduct reporting. It has to be code of conduct committee at language.com. Because what if somebody needs to file a complaint against
that
me?
person? Right.
Yeah. So you've got to make it a committee. You've got to give them a way to report in an alternate way in case there's a conflict of interest, because it happens. It sucks, but we have seen it happen.
I mean, you yourself have accrued so many COC violations. I mean, I would not put you on a board, so that I totally get that. That makes sense.
It's so valid. It's so valid.
Running around conferences, grabbing people,
cutting my mouth off. Like it's a
look at
problem.
These idiots.
Look at them, and yet they keep having made events because nobody has a code of conduct.
You know who has a really good code of conduct? PyCon. PyCon has an excellent.
Have a good one.
I like theirs.
Yeah. This is an example of Python's old code of conduct.
Oh, ironic.
This one sucked. This is an example of a bad code of conduct because it's like super, super non-specific, right? Like this is very vague, and it basically boils down to, okay, be nice. Come on, you guys. That's not helpful. Like, you can't just tell people be nice, because look, the kinds of people who are going to like chronically violate the code of conduct are also going to look for ways in which they didn't actually violate the code of conduct, you know? And do you really want to spend that much time arguing with some dickhead over whether or not he violated the code of conduct. You don't. I promise you don't. But if you have like a super vague code of conduct like this, where it's just like be open, be considerate, be respectful, that is what you're going to get, unfortunately.
Hey, I said she had a nice skirt. What are you talking about? I'm being respectful.
Yeah. Like it's that kind of shit. And like, yeah, you can eventually nail him on like, hey, that actually wasn't respectful, but you're going to have to argue with him first for probably an extended period of time. And unfortunately, that might also turn into some drama on social media. And do you want more of that? Either no, because as earlier we saw, it pushes people away from your project, you know? You also got to remember that your governance is not infallible either. We also can fuck up. We also can be too passionate. We also can be a problem for the future of a project. Sometimes stuff happens that make it very clear that your current governance sucks, and you have to be willing to change it. You can't be like so passionate about your project that you're like territorial or defensive about it or can't admit that it's imperfect. So your charter needs to include like really explicit provisions for worst case scenarios, like the removal of a specific member or like the dissolution of an entire committee. Do not assume that an implication or logical conclusion is sufficient here. You really have to spell it out. The Kubernetes project had this problem where we didn't have a way to remove a member of a committee that had a bunch of code of conduct complaints filed. So we had to make a way to do that. So learn from our mistake. And first of all, have that from the get-go. But if you don't have that from the get-go, go ahead and do that before you need it. Because it was also like a lot of drama for us to modify the charter in a way that allowed us to remove a member of the steering committee. So be open to your own leadership being the problem sometimes, unfortunately. Yeah. So you might think that it's obvious someone convicted of like a sufficiently awful code of conduct violation should automatically lose a governance or like leadership position, but that's just is not the case for a lot of governance charters. There's not usually a provision in there for that, and you just got to like.
It's also not the case with governments. So
it's also not the case with the U.S. government. Yeah, because here we are. Here we are. How many felonies was it?
34? 37? High 30s. Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. I should not have thrown such a softball.
I know, it's fine. I'm always willing to talk shit about the president. So
same.
You know?
Wait.
No?
Yeah, but you live in Scotland now, so you can flee. We're still stuck here.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, the UK is not doing a whole lot better, to be clear. We're
fair.
We're pulling some of the same stunts. We're just doing it a little bit weirder and more slowly.
I mean, that is the English way.
It is. Yeah.
With a funny accent. What?
With a funny accent. Yes. So, how do you do better? There's a lot of workshops that I think you should consider taking if you're in like any kind of open source leadership role, so that we stop eating each other. Take the Linux Foundation Inclusive Open Source orientation. It is free. It's very good. The Otter Technology Code of Conduct training is also very good. Consent Academy is great. A lot of the content for this talk was inspired by reading Working in Public by Nadia Egbal, which is also incredible. Nice. So definitely pick that up too. That one does cost you money. That one's not free, but it's worth the money. And I say that as a person who almost never reads books that are not fiction. I believe that reading should be fun. And so I have a policy of not doing it for work purposes, but I did genuinely find that enjoyable and helpful. I've never read the Phoenix Project or any programming language books.
The Phoenix Project is actually really, really entertaining.
It was enjoyable. Yeah, I liked it.
But also a little bit soul crushing if you've worked in an environment like that. There's just like, it's like watching the show Silicon Valley, right? It was like too on the nose. It's like, this is almost not funny because I know this person in real life.
I couldn't watch it. I made 2 episodes of Silicon Valley before I was like, this is too real. I'm out.
Right. It's like I actually know Gavin Newsom in real life. Like, oh my goodness.
I struggled with that show until I got to the actually, how crass am I allowed to be?
It's vBrownBag. What are you talking about?
Okay, until I got to the dick stroking ratio.
Yeah. Middle out.
At that point, the middle out. At that point, I was locked in. I was like, this is like I've seen my friends do shit like this. I've absolutely seen my friends get sidetracked late at night, drunk, nerd sniped on figuring out like the mathematical feasibility of like that thing in anime where like you like shoot a gun and it goes like between the girl's boobs, like flaps between them. Like I've seen my friends get locked in on trying to do the math on that. So it felt very real to me in a fun way, you know? So
yes. Yeah, that episode was quite literally a masterpiece in just telling like a long joke with an amazing punchline. I think I almost passed out from laughter and fell off my couch. Right. Like I could not breathe through like the majority of that punchline. It was fantastic.
One of the most perfect episodes of TV maybe ever recorded, I think
so. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it remains very funny. That was my last actual content slide. So we can resume bullshitting, or I can take questions.
The other perfect episode of TV was the Last of Us episode with Nick Swartzen. That was also a perfect episode.
Yeah, it was. I was also like
Nick Offerman.
I was. That was emotionally harrowing. Like I knew what was going to happen. It was still like,
oh, totally. But you couldn't help but you stuck through it. You listened to the Linda Ronstadt thing, and then you had your cry. It was perfect.
Yeah. I also think that the final episode of The Sopranos is perfect because people are still really mad about it, like decades later, and like trying to. I'm sorry. Am I going to spoil the end of a show that ended like 20 years ago?
I still haven't watched it, but I don't care. Go ahead.
I haven't watched it, but I know how it ends.
Holy Christ. Okay. So people are still like decades later trying to convince themselves that the screen cutting to black in that diner with Don't Stop Believing playing and that guy walking into the diner does not for sure mean that Tony is dead. That's cope, baby. I mean, Tony's dead. Okay. Tony's dead. That's how his father died. Come on.
Well, I agree with you that is masterful TV because people still talk about it and they engage about it. They don't rage about it like everyone did with Game of Thrones. Right?
Yeah.
Like talk about just like throwing away like a multi-billion-dollar franchise for nothing. Like
that was so bizarre because like I've got mixed feelings on it because like I think it happened way too abruptly, right? Like they needed like another 3 seasons to get there. But also anybody who thought that Daenerys was not going to go insane and burn down King's Landing is like delusional. Like she's genetically predisposed to be violent and crazy. Like, right? Like everybody in her family was. And she's been acting increasingly violent and erratic throughout the story to that point.
She solved every problem with dragons. Like every problem that she ran across was solved with dragons from the jump.
I mean, who among us would not do that? Right? Like, I get cut off in traffic and it's like fucking dragons. Like let's
yes. Yeah. I've got dragons. What are you gonna do about it? You know, not shit.
Considering the fact that they had been given the opportunity to have additional seasons and that they were offered more money to stretch it out, and yet they still chose to spend one episode turning into Psycho Killer was
had they built that choice up, that payoff would have made a lot more sense. But there was no character development and.
Because for 7 seasons, she was like, free the slaves, free the prostitutes, follow me, everybody. We're going to march on King's Landing.
It was just so like, it felt very out of left field. If you hadn't read the books and hadn't paid close attention to Daenerys's behavior, it felt like super. It felt abrupt. We needed more time to see her like kind of descend into madness,
Totally,
right, and become
totally.
more like her dad.
And now, short.
Actually, I want to go back in time to that time in which we would talk about Game of Thrones and we weren't disappointed by the show. We were more innocent then.
We were,
This is before COVID. We still had a president that could speak English coherently.
Yeah.
Like it was a time, man. I'd like to go back.
It was a time.
I'm cutting all of this out in post. I just want you to let you know. Just go ahead.
You probably should. You probably
speak
should.
your fill. Say what you want.
That's okay.
Kat didn't want to come back anyways to the country.
I'll be seeing you. I forgot to mention this. I will be seeing you in Atlanta for CubeCon, so we can hang out then. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm getting in crazy early because I've got a concert I want to go to on the 5th or the 6th.
Okay.
But yeah,
more Backstreet Boys.
No, I'm going to see IMX.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know who that is.
Industrial band.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Goth
really?
Shit.
Goth shit. Cool.
Yeah. I'm going to the Goth show.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm getting in super early. I'll probably leave like the day after ish, but yeah, I'll be there for like a week and a half. So like
we should definitely do something not affiliated with the conference, like something quiet. And I love the Atlanta Aquarium. I used to live in Mobile, so I would come up to Atlanta to visit my girlfriend, and we would do like fun shit in Atlanta. So yeah, I'm familiar with the area too.
There is a party at the aquarium sponsored by the New Stack and Adara. So
let's do that.
Yeah, I will be there. I will be at that party. So yeah,
cool.
There's plenty of time for us to do stuff like that. Yay!
All right. Well, what are your plans for the evening? Are you going to do anything more? Are you done?
I think I am done. Well, I'm going to go get drinks with some people from CocktailCon.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, I am done with work for the night.
Nice.
Got another interview tomorrow, but it's at 11 on the conference hall floor, so I have to actually be there.
Well, you go have fun
with you.
As much fun in Vegas as you can.
I'll try my damnedest.
I love how you like strategically position it for the camera every time you take a sip too. You're like, this is delicious.
It's for the drama, you know.
So dramatic.
I try. It's fun.
Amazing.
This has been an amazing time, Kat. Thank you very much for your time and for sharing your love of cannibalism and open source. And it's been good. I've really enjoyed it.
When we get together, we're gonna have to talk horror movies too, because Eggers actually is a New Hampshire boy who came up around here, and so yes, so we're gonna talk.
Okay, shit, yeah.
And this is the most spiciest and politically incorrect vBrownBag that I've been on in probably 10 years. So yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah. I mean, there was a time when it was just me, and I was a little bit unhinged. But yeah.
Back in my hard drinking days when, back when VCP5 was out.
I'm always happy to show up and make it weird.
That's fine. We love it.
So Aaron Hunter didn't have any questions. Daniel Seifert. Oh, thanks from Daniel. Okay. No questions. Just a lot of people saying hello.
Hello.
Awesome. Kat Cosgrove, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
We will be seeing you IRL in the near future, and I'm really, really looking forward to it.
Me too.
Awesome. All right, everybody, have a great night, and we'll see you next time.
Adios.
Bye.